Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous. It's a Friday. How can you be anything but good, right?
That's right.
And today we've got a special guest coming up later in the program. I'm going to be visiting with Seth Stephens Davidowitz. I hope I'm saying some of that right. I'll find out before I talk to him. He's got a book called Everybody Lies. So we're going to be learning a little bit about what that means. And I think it's, talking about how, everybody tells little lies here and there. But the book is called Everybody Lies. We'll find out all about that in a bit. You ready for a quote?
Yes.
Are you serious or are you lying to me?
I'm ready.
Okay. Seneca is who said this. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Ooh. Think of that little mind game you can play. It's not that things are difficult that we do not dare. It's that we do not dare because whatever. I don't remember what he said. Whatever Seneca said, we'll just go with that. Coming up, we've got a lot of special things happening today. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi.
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, June the 23rd. And I really thought you'd never ask. I was like, what are you doing over there? Are you in a zone or something?
I was just baffled by what you were saying during the break there, so I little stunned and quiet.
All right. It didn't make any sense at all, did it? That's why I say that stuff off the air. Hey, today is International Widows Day. It is Let It Go Day today. So isn't that from Frozen? Let it go. Let it go. Is that what it is?
Please don't ever sing that song.
I didn't sing it. I just said it. National Eat at a Food Truck Day. Oh, hey, that's cool. Because I know there are places that have like food truck Fridays, so today's a good day to have that. National Hydration Day, so stay hydrated out there, folks. Pink Flamingo Day. Take Your Dog to Work Day. Public Service Day. Runner's Selfie Day. Boy, that sounds dangerous. Here's my selfie. Here's me getting into the ambulance. Here's me getting my head fixed. SAT Math Day, and it's Typing Day. All of that happening on this Friday, the 23rd day of June.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. I'm going to just warn you, if you're having something to eat right now, you might want to just pause for a moment because this is kind of a yucky story. I mean, it's not like I've heard things way worse on other shows, but this is about as bad as I want to get on a program here that we do. When Bethany Bowker woke up and went outside, she found her car had something on it, and it didn't smell very good. She had her car splattered with human feces.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. She lives near Salt Lake City International Airport, and they believe this mess was the result of a plane leaking its waste as it flew over her home and her car. Video footage that she posted shows her driveway covered in small brown fragments. Later, she turned the camera to her car, showing her door and her hood and the wheels and the windshield covered.
Hopefully her windows were not open.
Yeah. Blue ice is the name given to frozen sewage that leaks from airplanes when they pass overhead. Why blue ice? It was not blue. It was brown ice is what it was. It says here it consists of human waste and liquid disinfectant. So you got the disinfectant
it's the blue,
in there.
all the blue garbage from the toilets.
Remember the Vegas vacation?
Yeah. my pen burst.
My pen exploded. He got his hand stuck in the toilet. Oh, boy. Anyway, the Federal Aviation Administration says periodically they receive reports of blue ice falling on a house. Sadly, they don't provide any advice on how to clean up blue ice.
Yeah.
So is that something that your insurance would cover if there was damage from blue ice landing on your car? And
I would assume so.
I think so. But, those wily insurance agencies probably have some sort of clause in there. an active blue ice. We don't cover
But
that.
it was an accident. I would think.
It's kind of like hail damage. Just one really big piece of hail.
How much damage could there be? I mean,
I
you
don't
just
know.
run it through a car wash.
Yeah, well, hose it off. But it's her whole yard and everything. It's just yucky. But here's the thing. You know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. Almost. They want your brain to be on drugs, and nobody knows why. Authorities in the Ukraine are trying to figure out who's doing this. They're trying to get the staff at a bank drunk. For 6 weeks now, a case of beer has been waiting for the bank staff when they show up at work. No note is attached. Tests have shown that the beer has not been tampered with, so it's not poisonous or anything. One theory is that somebody was planning a heist at the bank, and they were hoping the beer would be consumed by the employees, leaving them, too intoxicated to fight back. So far, that has not worked out for anybody. They're maybe thinking that the robbery would go more smoothly if the bankers were all drunk. 6 weeks in a row, a case of beer.
That's hilarious.
The funny thing is, it could just be like somebody at the bank going, okay, I'm going to do this to see what happens around here. A fun social experiment, if nothing else. But, yeah, somebody's trying to get them to have their brain on drugs. And like I said, so far, it hasn't worked.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. This may be the most prestigious person ever to be awarded my moment of duh, Heidi.
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth.
Oh.
Yeah, she almost got shot by a palace guard who mistook her for a late-night prowler. The Queen is prone to late-night strolls on the palace grounds when she can't sleep, and during one of these 3 a.m. strolls, a guard thought she was an intruder and pulled his weapon on her.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And he said, Your Majesty, I nearly shot you. Actually, he said something before that I won't say on the radio, but anyway, then he said, Your Majesty, I nearly shot you. The Queen answered, well, that's quite all right. Next time I'll ring through beforehand so you don't have to shoot me. So
3 a.m. just outside wandering
around palace grounds. I'm going to see what's going on out here. He thought it was a prowler and almost killed the Queen.
She's like 912.
I don't
What if
know.
she fell down
I
or
have
something
no
while
clue.
she was out
She
wandering
probably
around
has one
all
of those
by
things,
herself?
Push the button. I've fallen and I can't get up. Does she have one of those, you think?
I wouldn't think that'd be a good idea to just allow her
it's
to wander
not.
around by herself
It's
in
not
the
a
middle
good
of the
idea.
night.
That's why it's a story. And that's why she gets our moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink. And you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. According to a survey of millennials, 51% say they have taken a bathroom mirror selfie, and 25% responding to this survey say they confess to taking a selfie while sitting on the toilet. Okay, Heidi, I have a question.
have never taken a selfie
nor
on
have
the
I.
toilet.
Now, I can tell you this.
I have sent texts from the toilet.
I've had a photo of me taken while I was on the toilet.
Several.
I wonder who did that, Heidi. I was on a business
You
call.
like to take business calls in the bathroom.
Here's the thing. I had to use the restroom, and the phone call came in, so I was on the phone. So she slides the door open and snaps a photo of me.
And you couldn't yell at me because he's on the
I
phone.
was like, "Would you quit it? Why don't you want me? What don't you want me to do, John? What's going on?" So,
And then you get off the toilet when you're done and you're walking out. You're like, when I leave, flush this. And I'm like, I'm going to flush it now. I'm going to flush it now. You're like, no.
oh, people who call me will probably quit calling me now. Hi, guys. That might have been you. Hey, this is a neat story. This almost became our good news story today. But I've got another one that's just too good to be our good news story. So remember the story of the Georgia inmates who saved the life of a deputy when he passed out? For those of you who didn't hear the story, the sheriff is now planning on knocking some time off their sentence. Here's what happened. A deputy went down and 6 inmates were on work detail at a cemetery. They took off his bulletproof vest and his gun belt. They performed CPR and saved his life.
Wow.
Yeah. So now the sheriff is saying, you know what, we're gonna
reward
these guys.
I think they should.
And take a little time off their sentence.
That's awesome.
Because, you know, what they could have done is said, hey,
it's a good opportunity to run. Take his gun and...
they very easily could have done something like that, but thank goodness they didn't.
Good for them. That's awesome. I love hearing stories like that.
Like I said, that was almost our good news for today. So you kind of got two good news stories today.
It's probably better good news than the good news you're sharing later. Usually your judgment is a little off.
It's really... says the person who takes photos of me on the bathroom toilet. Hey, Boeing has unveiled plans for a bigger aircraft. That's exactly what we need. A bigger aircraft. I think they're kind of big enough, aren't they?
I think they could be a little bigger.
Really?
They've got their seats so crammed, so close together that you can't move your legs.
They're not going to give you more room. They're just going to put more seats on there. They're going to squeeze you in like tuna fish. Or no, what are those
Sardines.
things? That's the ones. You're saying they're going to grind us
up? I knew
up?
what you meant.
Hey, listen to this. In Costa Rica, the country's president had a very unusual situation happen while speaking to reporters. He was talking to reporters in a beautiful garden area, and a wasp went into his mouth.
Oh.
President Luis Guillermo Solis stopped talking, swallowed, and then announced, I ate it. I ate the wasp. What else was he supposed to do?
Spit it out.
Maybe he tried and that didn't work. I have no idea.
Oh my God.
He ate the wasp. That's in Costa Rica.
One fewer wasp in the world.
There you go.
That's a good thing.
I don't understand the need for wasps.
No.
I understand bees because I love honey, but wasps, I don't understand that exactly. Hey, if one of your goals is to set the world record for something, here's one that maybe you want to try. Because, I mean, this sounds so easy, Heidi. Somebody just set a world record for the fastest mile hopping on a pogo stick while juggling 3 balls. Yeah. 23 minutes and 28 seconds, by the way. Yeah, that's what
I do not see the point of a world record. What is that ever going to do for you?
For me, I just think it would be cool to be a world record holder at something. To be the best in the world at something. I mean, I'm really not the best in the world at anything right now.
Just
but I
make
think
up your
cool.
own category,
well,
and you don't have to even do it
and
well.
they told us no. So
it's not like that was a category before, and you just topped it.
Hey, one last thing here. The Sherlock team, the people who did the TV show, the TV program, whatever, they're working on a new horror story for Dracula. They're trying to remake the classic from 1897, Bram Stoker, and it would be coming to television in 2019 on the BBC. So for those of you who are big fans of that, something to look forward to. Coming your way here in just a bit, we've got a special guest, and then a lot of other fun stuff on a Friday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
Way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day. All day, every day, for 7 full days. And, as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest joining us right now, the author of a new book called Everybody Lies. We have Seth Stephens Davidowitz joining us. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Very good. I like the secondary title here is Big Data, New Data, and What the Internet Reveals About Who We Really Are. So this is a way to kind of find out who we are as a people, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, because I think for the past 80 years, if you want to know what people really want, what people really are doing, you ask them in a survey, but the problem is that people tend to lie to make themselves look better. And now, due to some Internet data sources, such as Google searches and clicks people make, we can finally understand who we really are.
So now, is this something that the average person would be shocked to find out about themselves, or do they know it? They just don't want to admit it.
I think there are some things that sometimes we do lie to ourselves, so we aren't aware of things of facts about ourselves. One of the things I find is the different searches that people make, that parents make about kids when they're sons or daughters. When they Google questions about sons, they're much more likely to ask, "Is my son a genius?" When they Google questions about daughters, they're much more likely to ask, "Is my daughter overweight?" I think parents like to think that they treat sons and daughters equally, but seeing all our data, we find out that's just not true.
Oh, wow. So I wonder why that is. Why they would... Do they not Google, is my daughter a genius? That doesn't happen?
Yeah, not nearly as much as they Google, is my son a genius?
Huh. That's crazy. Now, one of the other things on here, it says, how many Americans are racist? I'm about afraid to ask that question because I would think most people would say that they're probably not racist, but what does the statistic tell you?
Yeah, just about everybody would say that they're not racist, but the stats tell us a disturbing number of Americans are. There definitely is a disturbing element to some of this data because people lie to make themselves look better. So if we know the truth, sometimes, unfortunately, people are going to look worse. And you do see in this data that people search for racist jokes mocking African Americans in strikingly high frequency. And this reveals that a lot of what we thought about racism was wrong. The traditional notion of racism is that it's predominantly concentrated in the South, in states like Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama. But actually, racism is highest in many parts of the North, in western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, industrial Michigan, upstate New York. So really, there's not this South versus North divide that people think there is.
Wow. See, and again, that's another one that kind of shocked me. Now, another thing on here, it says, during the interview, I can ask you this: who cheats on their taxes? So there's another fun one. Is this everybody?
It's not everybody. It's basically people who know how to cheat. So there are little tricks in the tax code, ways you can get bonuses from the government. And basically what you find is as soon as people move to an area with tax professionals who can teach them these tricks or neighbors who can teach them these tricks, they start cheating themselves. So basically the key to tax cheating is not morality, it's information. It's not the difference between people who cheat and people who don't cheat is not ethics. It's just some people know how to do it and some people don't.
So it's more information. If they've got the info, they do it.
Exactly.
Our guest right now is Seth Stephens Davidowitz. He's the author of Everybody Lies, Big Data, New Data, and What the Internet Can Tell Us About Who We Really Are. Also in here it says, I can ask you, does advertising actually work? I hope the answer is yes, but I'm ready for the answer.
It is actually yes. So this one maybe fits your intuition, but it's difficult to test whether advertising works because the products that advertise the most are products that would be popular anyway, right? So Coke and Pepsi advertise the most, but they presumably would have a lot of sales even if they didn't advertise. So the way to test this is during the Super Bowl, some teams, whichever teams make the Super Bowl, fans in that city will watch the Super Bowl in much higher numbers, and you can see if they then go out and purchase the products that were advertised in the Super Bowl, and they do in much higher numbers.
No kidding. Well, that's kind of cool. Now, this is one that I think is going to be exciting to find the answer. Does where you grow up affect your chance for success in life?
Yeah, hugely. There are massive differences throughout the United States in your odds of being successful based on where you're born. And the two attributes that give you the biggest chance of being successful are being born in a city and being born in a college town.
So if you weren't born in a city or a college town, you got to try a little harder.
You got to work twice as hard, maybe, or 3 times as hard, according to the data.
How about, does violent media actually encourage violent behavior?
No, this one's one of the more surprising ones and some of the weird things that you see in data. So you would think when a violent movie comes out that violent crime would go up, but actually violent crime goes down. And this is pretty shocking. How can violent crime go down as soon as a violent movie comes up? Basically, the people who tend to be risky for committing crimes, young men, instead of going out to bars and clubs where they might get in fights, drink, get an assault, they sit in movie theaters sober and don't commit crimes.
Oh, there you go. See, I wouldn't have thought of that. And there's one other question on here. This is one that all of the single people out there that are going to be dating, we're going to be on the edge of their seat to find the answer. What should you say on a first date if you want a second date? This
was a clever study. Actually, they gave tape recorders to speed daters, and they recorded everything they said. and then they record everything they said, and then they ask them afterwards, do you want to go on a second date? And they could find out from the words people said whether you will have a second date. And for men, the key thing is to laugh at a woman's jokes, to let her speak, and to be very supportive, to say things like, that must have been tough, that sounds really hard, which probably isn't rocket science, but men still don't seem to do it. So a woman listening will probably be like, duh, but men maybe need to read that study to get that insight. And then for a woman, for a man, the most beautiful word he can hear from a woman's mouth is I. It turns out if the woman talks about herself on a date, she's much more likely to agree to a second date.
No kidding. See, I would have never guessed either of those, honestly. So, very fun stuff. Well,
it's the thing about data is it kind of shocks you every time. We don't really understand how the world works until we start looking at the numbers.
Well, and that's the thing that's interesting about this is we think we know ourselves, but then we find out that we just know the ourselves that we want to put out there. There's a different ourself inside of there that is going to probably be a little different than what we even realize.
Exactly. Everybody lies, and we lie to ourselves as well.
Well, and that's the name of the book, Everybody Lies, Big Data, New Data, and What the Internet Can Tell Us About Who We Really Are. It's available right now. Our guest today has been the author of this book, Seth Stephens Davidowitz. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat, sir.
Thanks for having me.
And again, the book, Everybody Lies, it's available right now. Thank you so much for listening to The John and Heidi Show, and I'm not lying.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The high jump method of jumping head first and landing on your back is called the Fosbury flop.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a name for it, but that's what it is. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Powdered tea was once used as a snuff to stop bleeding noses. So if you had a bloody nose, they used to cram tea in your nose.
I don't know.
I don't know why you would do that. Wouldn't that make you sneeze and have an even bigger problem? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The women of the Tiwi tribe in the South Pacific are immediately married at birth.
Oh.
It's a girl, and here's her husband. So hopefully it's another baby and not like a 50-year-old guy. That would be kind of weird. Then again, getting married, officially married at birth is also kind of weird. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
According to the Gallup poll, 11% of the U.S. population believes in ghosts and other supernatural entities. Do you believe in ghosts, Heidi?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I think I do, too. A couple of fun facts for you right there. Brought to you by pinkdrinkfree.com. Not just another diet, it's a way of life. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink, and you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
All right, you ready for a happier marriage, Heidi?
I think we're probably doing okay.
I think we are, too. But this is the Secrets to a Happy Marriage. An Iowa man has typed up this. It says, Contract for Wifely Expectations. It says, I don't care how often you shave your legs and armpits, just so long as you don't use my razor.
Yeah. You've said that.
We've had
to
this
me.
issue.
Yes, you have.
As a man, I demand a prompt, well-cooked meal after I get home from work, so you will have dinner phoned into the pizza shop no later than 5:30 p.m. I will leave the seat down. You will leave the seat up. We will alternate turns. But I got them because I thought you'd like them is no longer a valid excuse for buying shoes. Now, this is part 2 of The Secret to a Happy Marriage, and it's some things to add to this contract. And this is from the female's perspective. It says, while I agree not to use your razor for shaving, I reserve the right to store my hair remover in your shampoo bottle without your knowledge or consent. As a man, I understand that you expect a well-cooked meal, so after you get home from work, you will have dinner no later than 5:30. It may have arsenic. What? But it may have arsenic provided free of charge. Okay, I don't quite get that one. Next one. You will leave the seat up. I will super glue the seat down. And the last one here is, I had something in my eye is no longer a valid excuse for hiding your tears during a romantic movie. So, well, there you go.
You don't hide your tears at all.
I don't at all. Here's the thing, and I'm not afraid to admit that I cry at sad movies or sappy movies or air conditioning commercials. So I said it so you didn't have to, Heidi. No, these guys. I don't mind being a person who's in touch with their feelings. That's not a bad thing. I think that's a good thing.
A girly man.
And if I lose man points for that, man? I don't need them. So there you go. Come on.
Somebody has to be sensitive in our house.
I got something in my purse for that. Just kidding. Gonna head to Romania coming up next.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com. Things are apparently different in other parts of the world, Heidi. A woman in Romania just got a judge to order her boyfriend to give her better gifts. What?
Oh, that's awesome. Can we do that? Is that a thing?
Let's hear what he was doing. The woman is serving 4 years in prison for theft.
Oh, wow.
And she said that he continues to bring her such things as photos of him and their friends at pubs.
Oh.
Cookbooks that she cannot use.
She's in prison.
And he's mocking her basically and making her feel bad, and it's making her prison time more unbearable. A judge ordered the boyfriend to agree on a list of acceptable presents to bring if he's going to bring anything while he visits her in jail. So they're saying, okay, no more taking these photos that are making her feel bad.
I can see that.
I mean, here's the thing. If it were me, this would be my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend, whatever. Why are you still with the guy?
Well, why is he still with her? She's in prison.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, he's like, oh, I love you so much. I'm going to come see you in prison. Here's photos of us out having fun without you. Check out this one here. I don't even know what her name is. She was sitting on my lap. I have no clue why they would even still be together. But that happened in Romania. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, well, you're not the only one. The country continues to deal with slowdown, and workers are trying to stretch paychecks more than ever. It says nearly half of American workers, 47%, say they always or usually live paycheck to paycheck. That is up 43% from the last survey, which was done about a year ago. And it's not just blue-collar workers. 1 in 5 workers with salaries of $100,000 or more report living paycheck to paycheck. Now for the good news. 64% of hiring managers are expected to provide an increase in salaries for full-time employees in just a matter of months. So they're saying, hey, good news. A lot of folks are going to be getting some raises here real soon. So that's good news. And I think it's because it's harder and harder to find people now. Yeah. So they're going, I think we need to pay people a little better and maybe keep the ones we have. This paycheck to paycheck thing, one thing I'll tell you is I remember when I was younger, I made almost nothing, and I spent almost nothing, and I got by fine. And then later, I made more, still not much, but I spent more, still not much. No matter how much you make, you'll find a way to spend it. So I'm just saying, be careful about that. Coming up, we've got, it says here, men who marry well-educated women boost their chances of living a longer life. So we're going to find out if I'm going to be dead by the end of this program or not. That's on the way. How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
Way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day. All day, every day for 7 full days. And, as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
All right, Heidi, I'm a little concerned. The headline has me concerned, but I think in reality, I think I'm still good. It says, men who marry a well-educated woman boost their chances of living a long life. Now, you don't have like a big, solid, Ivy League education.
No.
But you are very smart in the ways of this world. So
Well, yeah,
I think I'm okay. But here's what it says in the story. The higher a woman's education, the better chance both she and her partner will have a long life. According to research from a Swedish Institute for Social Research in Stockholm, oddly, the level of a wife's education was a stronger factor in lowering her husband's risk of dying over the next 10 years than the man's own level of education. Both men and women with less education, who made less money, had a higher rate of death than those whose education and higher earnings were higher. So,
Yeah, well, I could see that because you're stressed out about money, and
Yeah.
stress causes heart problems.
The thing that's interesting, though, is that it was the female, her education level and her income made a bigger difference than even the man's own education level and income. Why would that be, I wonder? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Makes a difference for the man, because if she's making all the money, he's not working as hard, and if the bills are paid.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's what it is. So you're saying I should have got myself a sugar mama. You're kind of a sugar mama. You're
And
like
I maybe should have done the same thing
you're
for
a
myself.
Splenda mama. It's like a not quite a sugar mama. Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Anyway, here's the absolute positive truth. Knowing what I know now, if I could go back 18 years ago, before we met, and I could make the decision of whether or not to tell younger John to meet Heidi or not, I would still say, hey, yeah, definitely meet her. I wouldn't change anything. So I don't want me a sugar mama. I got you, and I'm happy with you. Okay. So I'm serious. I mean, financially things could be better, but you know what? The good news is, I think there was the wise men, John, Paul, George, and Ringo said something along the lines of "Can't buy me love." Yeah, something like that. So it's true. I mean, just because you have more money doesn't mean you're happier, and I've definitely learned that in life. I know people who are financially very well off that are miserable, and I know people who don't have two nickels to rub together that are happiest people I've ever met. So I like you just the way we are, and even if you're not my sugar mama.
It's a lot easier to cry in a Rolls Royce than...
I'm going to put up the partition,
I'm
Jeeves.
just saying, if I'm going to be sad either way, I might as well do it with some style.
Hey, guess what? We've got some good news coming your way. That's on the way next.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
All right, Heidi, because you were giving me guff earlier in the program about picking a bad good news story, I have what I think is the good news, but I've got two for you to choose from, and I'm going to let you pick again. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right, high school student taking recycling pop tabs to another level. So we mentioned this another time, and you didn't choose it. Or 10-year-old boy from Texas may put an end to kids dying in hot
I'm going to have
cars.
to go with the 10-year-old.
Boy, this poor prom student, this high school kid, snubbed by Heidi twice. One of these days, we finally get to the story. She's going to go, I feel so bad for snubbing them over and over. Well, this is a good news story, and this is the one that originally I had the other one that we were talking about, the Georgia deputy, but I said, you know what, this is such a great story. A 10-year-old boy from the state of Texas hopes to put an end to kids dying in hot cars. Bishop Curry has so far raised about $30,000 on GoFundMe to develop a device, and it's really cool. It's Oasis. Go ahead and ask how it works, Heidi.
How does it work, John?
Thought you'd never ask. Oasis will detect when a child has been left inside a hot vehicle, and it will continue to alert the parents of the child. The device will also come with technology to help cool down the child while they're waiting to be rescued. So while you're sitting there in the hot car, it will start to cool you down first, and it will continually notify your parents till somebody comes to the rescue.
Huh.
I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, that is a very cool idea.
A 10-year-old kid came up with this idea. So a 10-year-old kid said, hey, I think this is a cool idea. $30,000 raised so far. I'm sure it's more than that because It's linked to a GoFundMe thing, and I hope the kid gets it developed, and I hope these things get put out because it's a cool idea, and if that could save even one child, worth every bit of it.
I wonder if they could even be attached to every car seat that's produced.
Absolutely. That'd be really cool. You should talk to this 10-year-old. If you'd like to read the story, it's at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.